Portland Public Schools are moving forward, working on controversial plans to possibly redraw school boundary lines.
We found out the district expects 5,000 more students in just the next 10 years, and that growth actually comes after years of declining enrollments. Some parents pretty upset, but our Lisa Balick found out there are still a lot of options here still in play, right, Lisa?
Absolutely. Keep in mind the district has not put any lines on paper just yet, and those ideas, options will be revealed later this month. But as I found out, the plans may also include reopening closed schools like Marshall and changing around grade configurations.
Option C, so what that means.
Portland parents packed the Boundary Advisory Committee last night, worried whether their children might not be able to go to their neighborhood school next year, as the district works to rebalance schools that have too many kids at one place, not enough at others.
The thing that bothers me is the thought of bringing children from successful schools and placing them into failing schools, and that's not fair either.
The district says there is no plan just yet. Instead, a committee is looking at lots of options, including redistricting. Today, I tracked down the head of the Boundary Advisory Committee to find out exactly what's happening and to explain how parents don't want their kids to head to lower performing schools.
I think it's a fair concern for us to acknowledge, but what that has caused is that some schools are perceived as better than others, and we know we have a system that exacerbates that problem.
But why not improve the schools that are not as good instead of moving kids around?
So part of the problem is that some of our schools that are perceived as low performing or underperforming is that they don't have enrollment and resources to offer the programs.
Right now, some schools are overutilized, more teachers in classrooms to handle the student numbers. Others are under-enrolled, fewer students, and they need extra money to provide core classes. Some parents believe, though, there are other options besides changing boundaries to fix the problems.
There will be a lot of parents who will be panicking or maybe moving, and why don't we just rather, instead of changing the boundary lines, why don't we create more schools where they're needed to be created and train the teachers so they can better teach the students.
I also wanted to find out whether some kids who walk to school now could be bused to a school further away.
Some are concerned about busing kids. They don't want that to happen. Is that something, though, that's a possibility?
I believe that busing's not on the table.
Now, October 29th, the last Thursday of this month, that is when the Boundary Committee expects to have some preliminary maps to talk. But again, keep in mind there's going to be many public hearings about this before anything is decided, essentially approved at the end by the school board. But they are talking about, keep in mind, making some changes for next school year.
I was so surprised when I heard 5,000 more kids in the next 10 years, because I just remember for years the declining enrollment, people going to the suburbs, having to close schools, and now it's
I know, they closed more than 20 schools over time, and now they're talking about reopening schools.
People moving back into the city.
5,000, that is a lot of students. Certainly a story we'll continue to follow.
Absolutely.
Thank you, Lisa.